Over here, please. And any children who want to romp, frolic, play, and otherwise be kids, we have a big space down there where they can all happily do such things. See that these doors are closed? The doors are closed. The doors are closed.
Sorry, I forgot one message. You see that our temple president is not here. Today there was a Dipali celebration in Gracie Mansion in Mayor's house. So even Radhanath Maharaj is also there, and Radhanath Maharaj also will visit us today. So they are on their way. And Eric Adam, the mayor, has sent good wishes for all of you. Hare Krishna.
You'll have to take it away, otherwise it'll keep you. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta, Swami Niti Namane, Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pacharane, Nirvishesha Sunyavadi, Paskita Deshatarane. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktabrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Doors closed, small children downstairs. That formula will work. The Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita, one of the books that Srila Prabhupada directly translated, it's an 11-verse work of Srila Rupa Goswami, describes an ascension of two important categories. One, ascension of places. We see how if people are given the choice and have the means, they want to live in what they consider to be a place better than a place lesser. And such considerations like how popular is the neighborhood, or even more than that, how prestigious is the neighborhood. In the material world, everyone is looking for respect. I don't get no respect. So we want to, wow, you live in such and such neighborhood? Oh, just automatically, just by living there, you must be a respectable person. This is where all the cool people, and even some locations become magnets, or have or even to the point that only prestigious and famous people will be allowed to stay there. So in the Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Instruction indeed is a proper title. We think of instruction as something dry and, all right, I'll deal with it because I have to, but I really don't want to. But to put those two terms together, Upadesh Amrita, the nectar of instruction, try to fathom that. So the devotees in the Krishna consciousness movement, they very much welcome receiving the proper instruction from superior authority. We come to realize that our ability to figure the whole thing out hasn't really gotten us to where we need to be or want to be. In other words, we're not happy. Srila Prabhupada's, one of his early disciples, Govinda Dasi, she was only 19 years old when she joined Srila Prabhupada in San Francisco. She was from Texas originally. And at that time, she had traveled all over the world. Her interest or inquisitiveness to understand, is there a God? Is there a higher power? Led her to study the artwork and architecture of medieval Europe, and it led her to think that there must be God if there's such amazing buildings and artwork. But then she reported to Srila Prabhupada, but still, I'm not happy. And Prabhupada said, yes, that is the problem. So, this material world is not our happy home. And no matter how much we try to find the right neighborhood, the right situation, the right conditions, and try to adjust it, and even when we're there, try to balance it all out, we're not going to be happy ultimately. Because we're eternal spirit soul, and try to make, Prabhupada used these words, a settlement in a place which is not permanent, because we're permanent by nature. Jivera Srupoy Krishnera Nityandas, we're eternally the part and parcel servant of Krishna, and as Krishna is eternal, so are we. So how can you be happy in a place where birth, death, disease, and repeated birth, death, disease, and old age are imposed upon one and all, like it or not? No matter how rich you are, how famous you are, how scientifically advanced you are, death is sure. So, higher than this material realm, and even within this material realm, there are higher and lower places, just like here in New York City. There are better or worse places to be. Everyone's aware of that. Everywhere it's the same thing. The modes of material nature are all pervasive. And then there are higher planets, the heavenly planets. Most people's religious activities or idea of being good or pious, the underlying motivation is to get a better or higher standard of material life. Actual understanding of one's spiritual position as an eternal servant of God, of Krishna, is conspicuous by its absence in this material world. That's why Srila Prabhupada, as his spiritual master said, there's nothing lacking in this material world except one thing, Krishna consciousness. So even above the highest realms in this material world, which Krishna says from the highest to the lowest, all are places of repeated birth, of repeated birth and death. Even Lord Brahma, who was the chief engineer, the chief and most important demigod that is entrusted by Krishna with the, Prabhupada says in one place in the second canto, the whole cosmic show. He also, even though his lifespan is fantastic according to our mathematical calculations, for him death is sure also. So above that are the Vaikuntha planets, the place where Krishna is understood, adored, and worshipped in great majesty, awe, and reverence. And then higher than that is Vaikuntha Goloka Vrindavan, where Krishna is present. Prabhupada has described for us in our position that our worship of Radha and Krishna in the temple is likened unto worship of Lakshmi Narayan in the Vaikuntha planets. But because they are Radha and Krishna, we're not worshiping Lakshmi Narayan per se. We're worshiping Radha and Krishna, but in the majestic mood that is there in the first part or manifestation of Goloka Vrindavan, Vaikuntha Goloka Vrindavan. Prabhupada has explained that. Then when one's devotional service advances more and more, the result of worship of Krishna is to come to the stage of spontaneous love, and that's distributed in four main ways of relationship. Dasya prema, ecstatic servant. The servant and the master practically become one in interest. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I forget who it was, I'm sure someone will help me. The servant became transformed by the quality of the master, and the master became transformed by the quality of the servant. And when that relationship advances more and more, it becomes equal friendship. And higher than that is one becomes the parent of Krishna, or in Vatsalya, parental bhav. And the highest of all types of relationships includes the facilities of all the preceding ones is Madhurya Ras, accepting Krishna as one's supreme beloved, lover and beloved, romantic love. And corresponding to that ascension of personal relationship with Krishna are places where those things are most appropriate. So Govardhan Hill, Krishna told the residents of Vrindavan, Maharaj Nanda, you don't have to worship Indra, you worship Govardhan Hill, which he later revealed is he himself. It is the topmost place of Krishna's pastimes, and within Govardhan Hill are the topmost of all sacred places, Radhakund and Shyamakund, were the places most dear to Radha and Krishna and their eternal associates. So the worship of Govardhan Hill is very, very, very purposeful for one wanting to come to the highest facility of love and reciprocation and experience, ecstatic experience. Krishna tells Uddhava in the 11th canto, I am the sum total of all ecstatic experience. People try to become happy in this material world in so many different far out ways. A city like New York provides so many different varieties. I was hearing the memoir of Mukunda Maharaj, formerly Michael Grant. He's credited, among other things, for getting Prabhupada's first residence, 26 2nd Avenue, and helping him establish legally the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So their next conquest, upon Mukunda Maharaj's and his friend Sam, later to become Shama Sundar's recommendation, Swamiji, there's a much greater youth renaissance than New York taking place right now in San Francisco. You must come out here. And they helped organize a huge gala rock concert with all the luminaries of the time pitching in for free. Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead, could you guys play a benefit concert for Swamiji to open the first Krishna temple? What was his reply? Yeah, man, sounds groovy. So there was one place called, what was it called? I forget what it's called, but they had the meditation room, and it was a kind of a walk, and it was like a real hippie place. And Mukunda Maharaj, they tactfully, diplomatically refused a few times, but ultimately Prabhupada accepted, and they were walking Saturday night through the Haight-Ashbury district, and so many things were on display. And Mukunda Maharaj was thinking that Swamiji would be aghast at seeing all of this colorful and all this, way of gratifying the senses in every possible way that you can imagine in a material body with material thought. Use your intelligence fully to do it, all at the same time practically. And Mukunda Maharaj, thinking that, embarrassed for the situation, he tried to, and Prabhupada was just completely equiposed, not at all disturbed, very peaceful and happy, walking the distance. And he finally said to Prabhupada, trying to make conversation, Prabhupada, it's a very beautiful evening. And Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji said, yes, everything is beautiful. So in other words, the pure devotee who is on the topmost position of love of Radha and Krishna, he sees everything, even the perverted reflection, the perversion of that topmost love and reciprocation based on actual complete truth. He sees everything, even the material energy, is stemming from Krishna. And such a personality is most expert and most desired to become our guide, an expert, knowledgeable master to see everything in right perspective and ultimately how to utilize everything for Krishna's pleasure. We think that we have met your goodness by the will of providence just so that we may accept you as captain of the ship to guide us across the dangerous ocean of Kali Yuga, which diminishes all the good qualities of the human being. Many great acharyas and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself were very great worshippers of Govardhan Hill, particularly Sanatana Goswami. He was very determined to perform Govardhan Prikram, living in Vrindavan, every day of his life into his 70s, to the point where Krishna himself had to come and dissuade him from his determination by giving him a special rock, Shila, from Govardhan Hill. If you circumambulate this stone 4 times, that will be as good as doing the entire Prikram of Govardhan, which just the basic Prikram is 14 miles, but Sanatana Goswami wanted to make one of wider diameter, 21 miles, so that more holy places could be encompassed in his circumambulation. So the worship of Govardhan Hill is a very important feature in the Krishna consciousness movement, and this day commemorates when the worship of Govardhan Hill was organized and ordered by Krishna himself. And I believe the tithis are merging Diwali and Govardhan-pūjā today. Now, the Diwali day is famous for the day that Lord Ramachandra returned to Ayodhya to regain and take his rightful position as the Ram Raj, the king of Ayodhya, much to everyone's great delight. We're all looking for a proper leader, someone who's not someone we can believe and not going to cheat us. That's just basic, you know. And what to speak of someone who is going to be able to establish not just heaven on earth, but the spiritual world. Actually, Mukund Maharaj, also at that time in 1967, there was a report that farmers in Maharashtra went to New Delhi because there was a great drought, and they were throwing stones, maybe not directly at Indira Gandhi. I'm sure she was the prime minister at the time, be protected, but at her place of residence. And Mukunda Maharaj thought that Prabhupada would be upset by that, and Prabhupada smiled and said, yes, there is that vestige of Vedic culture in India, that when something goes wrong, they blame it on the leader, even natural disturbance. Because an actual Rajrishi, an actual qualified leader, is in connoissance with the demigods and the Supreme Lord himself, and because of his spiritual, devotional, and pious rule, everything is set proper in order. That everyone's spiritual consciousness is on the highest position. What to speak of just things which should be automatically expected from a leader, which is proper distribution of all necessary goods, commodities, and services. Prabhupada coined the term simple living and high thinking. Now we have complicated and high living and very simple to basically no thinking. No higher thought, no higher consciousness, no higher knowledge, people working unnecessarily hard for so many hours just to keep a roof over their head and food in their stomach. This is not proper human civilization. So this Diwali day is also the day that Mother Yashoda actually bound Lord Krishna. We're chanting the Dhammadarastakam. It happened on this day, the Diwali day. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that these festival days are the mothers of devotion, or very great accelerant. They accelerate our devotional service more and more. It's very happy when they come, and there might be some sadness when they go, but ultimately, by participating in the annual cycle of these festivals throughout one's life, it will come to the point, as Prabhupada described, every day is a festival in Krishna consciousness. So we take the opportunity nonetheless, but ultimately, for a devotee whose goal is to go back home, back to Godhead, every day is a festival day. And more than that, the pure devotee is meant to distribute that festival, or the facility to have such festival, to everyone on this in the entire universe, and not just human beings, but in all species of life. Following the example of Lord Chaitanya, who is Radha and Krishna combined, they are distributing the facility for the topmost love in Goloka Vrindavan that we just touched upon briefly through the Sankirtan movement of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And simultaneous to distributing the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to ourselves as much as possible on a regular daily basis. Simultaneous, not waiting for us to achieve some type of level, as Sunanda Prabhu was saying on Sunday, very inspiring. At the age of 16, what a lucky man. I joined at the age of 19, 3 years later. Immediately out into the public, chanting and dancing for the majority of the day, more than 12 hours, every day. And at that time, I've heard some of Prabhupada's direct disciples, I just followed the Harinam back to the temple like the Pied Piper. Of course, the Pied Piper, his story is rather sinister, what he was leading the poor children to, but the Pied Piper of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement leads us to eternal knowledge and bliss and ecstasy. No one will refuse to take part in a function where singing, dancing, and refreshment are administered, and all attendant participants will feel the benefit. And that's ultimately what Radha Govinda wants for us every day of festival: chanting, dancing, feasting, and philosophy. The feasting is to energize our chanting and dancing, and the philosophy is to help us understand the importance of chanting and dancing, and to continue and to never stop. Kirtaniya Sadahari. So let that be my words for this short presentation. Is Krishna Kumar here? I saw him come in the back. We wanted him to come and start the kirtan, but he's off, not here. So, no, I'm not going to take questions. Let what I said be in and of itself. Because whenever, it's usually like I'm in the dunking stool at the state fair, you know, hit the target and dunk the clown in the water or something. Somebody asks a question off the track. Unless you want to ask the question? Okay, authorized question from an authorized person. Go ahead. Well, you can read, the entire Leela is several chapters in the Krishna book, but Krishna directed, he gave a menu. This is what you should cook, this is what you should do, and all of that was placed at the base of the hill, which you can still see today, Anakut Kshetra. The hill is at its highest, and it is in the place where there's a village appropriately named Anayor, which means, give me more. Give me more. Krishna himself assumed the form of Govardhan Hill and proclaimed to the residents of Vrindavan that I and Govardhan Hill are non-different. So then Prabhupada writes in the Krishna book, this identicalness with Krishna and Govardhan Hill is still respected today, and great devotees, they'll take rocks and small stones from Govardhan Hill and worship them as Krishna, exactly like the deities in the temple. There is no need to have an installation ceremony for a stone from Govardhan Hill. Does that answer your question? Krishna himself has affirmed that identicalness. There is the evidence. All right, so Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. handheld mic. Hare Krishna. Handheld mic. He's going to start the kirtan. So we're going, because you first. We'll change. Go. Hare Krishna. You can hold, you have a handheld microphone. Yeah, it's going to be a stand-up kirtan, and we're going to circumvent. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we're just waiting. Hare Krishna, everybody, you can just, do the kirtan. We are waiting for special guest. His Holiness Radhanath Swamiji is only 5 minutes away. So everybody please start the kirtan. Meanwhile, and there will be Aarti.
Use the stand. Hare Krishna.
Get the handheld microphone and then
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.